My name is Eli. I'm Nicole.
I'm Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
And we're the Yahoo and the Torah YouTube channel.
And I think we cut off the very first of us every time because we're trying to dial this in and trying to get our stick correct, but I don't know if we got it. But we are trying, and we are so thankful that you guys are with us today. It is a Shabbat of Yahuwah, and it is a blessed day. It is a hopeful day. It is a new day. And gentlemen, we've had a wild week. We've had dog fights. I have 8 of my 10 fingers back. Mostly doing well. I can almost make a fist in both hands now, and things are good on that side. Kate, how you doing?
Good.
What's going on?
It's a Shabbat. Just kind of get these sermons out of here and get them going. Had to deal with some cows this week.
Yeah, the kids are a little defeated. They all look a little beat up here. I got 2 of 3 that look okay. One doesn't look so good, but it was a long night. So, all right, how's everybody? Nicole, how you doing?
I'm good.
You're good, and you survived the week?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. You could speak in the mic, though, sometimes. That would be great.
I know, but the dog's in my way.
The dogs are definitely in the way. All right, Eli, how you doing?
Good.
What did you learn this week?
There's lots of bugs in flour.
There's lots of bugs in flour, yes. And we have, our Creator has provided a lot of flour for us, but we end up with a tremendous amount of bugs, and the bugs can only stay in the flour for so long, and before they make the flour really bad. And so that is about it. Gentlemen, you guys read over Leviticus 1 and 2 because you were a little bit behind on this. What did you guys read, and what did you discover, Jade?
It was just basically instruction guides on how to do a sacrifice, on what kind of sacrifice it is, whether it's a grain offering or it's a burnt offering. How you do it, you have instructions on what to give and how to burn it.
Right, and you must add a lot of salt into it. Smile, kid. You'll be all right. You'll be all right, hon. Yeah, so how to do it. Why do we need to add a whole bunch of salt, Cade?
I don't actually know. I don't know if it makes the flavor for the Kohanim better. Like, y'all wants people to have some actual good tasting food, or if he comes down and smells it and that smell of salt makes it smell better. I don't actually know.
What happens if it like goes up and he virtually eats us somehow, or somehow he actually makes us? He's eating it. I mean,
Maybe.
You think he's eating it? Do you think we're Yah's prep? Do you think he has a kitchen up there?
Probably.
I don't know.
I would assume so.
All right. Hey, before we go around, Eli, give me 2 things that you're blessed with. Give me 2 things and just give me any blessings. I will start. I told you guys one time I thought of the pit bulls were my blessings, but I said the sun. The sun was a blessing, and I will still continue off that the sun is one of Yah's greatest designs, one of the greatest things that I believe is a blessing for all mankind. Not only does it give us light, it gives us heat, it gives us power, it gives us a little bit of everything, and it's an amazing design. There's one. Eli.
A roof over our heads.
That is amazing. That is definitely amazing. That's the thing to be blessed about. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people without roofs over their heads. A lot of people with, we're blessed because we have tin roof, and we're in a poor country, and this is what poor countries do. But I found from other family that we have that there's even poorer families that they just use mud, and they use I don't know if it's poor or if it's actually richer people, because I think the poorer that you are, the richer you are in Yah. And I truly believe that. I don't, our Messiah said it, that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle, or a rope to go through the eye of a needle, than for a rich man to inherit the kingdom. And I believe that Yah blesses those who are definitely poor in spirit as well. Jade, give me some blessings.
Animals. Animals are a blessing from Yahuwah. They become our friends. They are there for us. They are there to keep us company or to give us food.
Yeah, give us food. And you guys learned a lot about that this week, right? I mean, this was a broken time. I explained this to everybody yesterday. I broke up. I've never, ever done a video, ever, where I've ever shed tears on a video. In years and years on YouTube, and years and all this stuff, and all the trials and tribulations we've had. Even when they raided our house, I've never, ever had tears. Yesterday, I had tears, and it was because you guys were broken after I had to end the cow's life. I saw the anguish and the breakness in your guys' eyes, and that was our friend, right? And that friend is gone. But yeah, animals are absolutely a blessing, and it's the dogs and all animals in general. Now, this is something interesting on the side of animals, is that every single species of everything has its own ways, right? We know the ways of the pit bull dog. We know some ways of the cows, but there's like critters out there, right? There are all these different critters. They have their own clans, they have their own people, they have their own ways. Like ants, for example. Ants run in packs, they run in colonies. And somehow one of them just figures out where they're going to go, the other one follows in suit, and they all end up, and they work together as a fine oiled machine. And if you see the ants running, they'll have like leaves on their back, and they're all transporting stuff. But who's telling these ants this? Who's telling them that they need to go gather, or that they need to go? We had an ant infestation a while ago, and they were crawling into our house, huge ones. Somebody just at some point, a leader ant, or how did they decide when they go around like that? Every one of Yah's creations are extremely amazing, all the way down to the very itty bitty things that we can't even see, the bacterias and things. All right, Cade, give me some blessings.
There's a papaya tree that grew right out our back door. We don't know how it grew up. It just grew up, and now it's providing papayas. That's a blessing.
Yeah, we are in a state of, the life of being poor is also a life of not eating what we used to eat. And so we are learning the ropes. And yeah, there was a giant papaya tree. And it reminds me of the book of Adam and Eve, where Satan tried to hide their almonds, and it was a fig. Yeah, it was figs. And so he went and buried it, and Yah built a giant tree up out of it, and it freaked Adam out. And he's like, "Oh man, this can't be right. This tree isn't in front of our cave. We got lost. Where are we at here?" All right, Nicole, what do you got?
The rain.
The rain. Okay, that's it. Nothing else.
It waters our crops. It can give us water if we need to. It fills up the creeks and waters our cows when they need water when they're out grazing.
Yep, I agree, and we live in a strange part of the world where there's literally two seasons. It's wet and dry, and that is it. And the dry season, we do run out of water, or came close to it. But wet season, it is an abundance of water, like it never ever stops. And what's interesting on these lands and where we're in the jungle is that it can suck in all of this water, and it just creates huge green things. Like if we don't manage our yard inside a week or two, it becomes, you can't even walk through it. It's a mess. Okay, that's some good ones there. Anyone else have anything? Any other blessings? Anything you guys feel? I feel blessed because we have the Torah. I feel blessed that we had a creator that had enough oversight and enough understanding that he delivered us a way. I also feel blessed that our creator is a holy, righteous creator, that his ways are not evil. Like if you look at the Satanists and look at the Luciferians out there and different things, they're all evil. Every bit of it, from whatever, all the great evil that they do, every bit of it is stuff we do not want to be associated with. And so when we look at the ways of our creator, it's about, keeping your clothes on. It's about being good people. It's about taking care of your neighbor. It's about helping out, not stealing stuff, right? And the people that are against Yah's ways, and maybe not by themselves saying I'm against Yah's ways, but simply by them not keeping the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. I feel blessed that we have such a guidelines, and we have the rules, and that we have regulations, and that we have a way that we are going to be tested, and the way that we are going to be judged. And the way that we are going to be judged, there can be no other way but by our hearts and by the Torah. And I believe that if we didn't have that, or if we weren't given these guidelines, we wouldn't know things, and we would be eating pig, we'd be drinking blood and steaks and things and different things of that nature. We wouldn't know. And so our Creator loves us enough that not only did he design a beautiful ecosystem, a beautiful land, a beautiful world that we have with beautiful people out there. And that's what I feel blessed. One of the last blessings I have before I get into this is I feel very blessed with the people that are with this channel. There's a tremendous amount of, like I've said before, there's a lot of subscribers, but the subscribers are just merely travelers. They're traveling through. They're coming in, and they come and they go. because they love the music, and then they split when they hear the message. And for those who have not split and those who listen, those are our family. And it's not just our family, but it's the family that Yah has provided us, an extended family. And there's so many caring people out there. And when we were broken down and we had terrible days, we have Shauna with Hannibal Gray. She's our tribe over in Hawaii. And she literally lives with a whole tribe. And so her tribe is our tribe. Sylvia Ewarts, we've adopted her. She's part of our tribe. Clarissa Cotton. Keep naming them, boys. Keep going here. Help me out. Carla.
Well, Granny.
The Gran. We love our Granny. We adopted her. And these are literally people that we talk to way more than our own family by far. And when we are struggling, when we are down, I knew that we would have people out there that would hold us up. And that is a tremendous feeling, because this is a dark world, in a world that nobody really cares. And, Fearmonger and his son, and, just the vast amount of people out there. Ali Empanada, we saw her talking yesterday. And so you guys are our family. And if we don't mention you, it's simply because our minds are not there. But everybody who literally comments that is part of our tribe is our family. And I feel very, very blessed that in such a dark time in this world, we are starting to pick up people across the world that we call family. And that is a huge thing. When you're in our family, it's like you're in a gang here. You're in Yah's gang. And you have the bad gang, you have the gang of evil. And then you have people that have huge hearts, and that people know the will. When we're surrounded by people that know the heart and mind and will of our Creator, those people are amazing. And it is amazing to be with you guys, and it's amazing to talk to you guys. And we literally have just a bigger family, and we can't thank you guys enough. Do you have anything you want to add?
No.
All right. So with that, we're going to read a couple chapters. We'll see how far that goes. It's going to make a noise here. Sorry. As I put my little stand out, and I begin with my handy dandy split screen, which hopefully it never fails me, because it always thinks it is. Leviticus 2, there's 3. And we are here. All right. So right now we have a total of 50 commands. And 1 or 2 of those we don't know if they're going to stay or not. But for the moment, we have literally 50 commands, and we are in the 3rd book. And this book is Leviticus. This is the book that everybody's like, oh, well, you can't keep the laws. Nobody can keep the laws. You can't keep sacrifice. And that is the very first by default thing that people will tell you when you're like, oh, you keep the laws of God. Oh, you sacrifice on your altar. Ha, ha, ha. And you're like, no, because they don't understand it. And it's sad they don't understand that. Why wouldn't we want to take an oxen and sacrifice it on an altar, Cade?
Because 1, we're not ordained. 2, if we somehow messed up that offering, the fire would consume us, like we're about to read pretty soon in this book, where it takes out 2 of Aaron's sons and kills them.
And why else?
Yeshua, because we have Yeshua.
Yeshua, and that's probably the number one thing. So in the after Messiah Yahushua died, the veil of the temple, which we're actually reading about here, is split from the bottom up. Right? Instead of something being torn, it would normally be torn from the top down. This thing tore from the bottom up. And it signified stuff. What did it signify, Jade?
There was no longer needed to be sacrificed, that we no longer needed the tabernacle to sacrifice.
Thus, sacrifice had come, and he had gone, and he came back, and now it is by his offering, by his blood sacrifice. And unless you read the entire scriptures from front of the book to back, you don't get this, right? You don't get it. If you only read the New Testament and you have a Messiah there and you only spoon-fed certain parts of Brother Paul's writings out of that, you could easily say that, yeah, the laws of God are no more. But when you say the laws of God are no more, that means that you have no more guidelines in your life. You have no more ways that you should walk. And that is a dangerous path that we walk. If you are able to go away and contrary to what our Creator says, that means you're walking in evil, because our Creator is nothing but good. And so it is very important that we understand these laws, statutes, and commands, and this is why we are thanking you guys for hanging out with us, and we truly begin. All right, Leviticus 3. Let's see where we are so far. All right, we started rambling. We rambled 14 minutes. All right. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, If he offer it of the herd, whether it be a male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before Yahuwah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly, and Aaron's son and the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. Hold on real quick. So this is called the fellowship offering in the NIV.
It says the peace offering.
Okay, and so we are here. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. Okay, so what is this saying right here? So we're killing a cow, right? We're killing whatever it is. And the 2 kidneys and the fat that is thereon, and the caul and the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. Okay, so that is not burned.
Yeah, wants to remove the liver, the insides, the appendage, and the kidneys.
Okay, so any ideas why that stuff would be removed?
I assume it would smell real bad getting burned.
I think because it's like the stuff that cleanses your body, so it probably like has toxins maybe.
Yeah, some toxins on there, and yeah, I'm talking to guys who just chopped up a cow, so we are.
Yeah, we saw a lot of insides. There's like you got to see the lungs and everything.
Yeah, you see the lungs, you see everything, absolutely everything. It's a gruesome process. This is absolutely a gruesome process. Does anyone not think yesterday was gruesome?
No, it's pretty gruesome.
It's horrible. It's a horrible thing, and it's the only thing that saved us is that we didn't have to cut its throat live like these Levites had to do. So that's just I don't know if that's I don't know. It's just crazy. Killing animals is crazy all in itself, and so if we think that's crazy, then we should probably not live in sin, right? If we are understanding that the life of a beautiful animal is killed, why would we continue on sinning and doing this kind of stuff? All right, verse 5. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the ascending smoke sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahuwah. So there it is again, a sweet savor. So is that a smell? What did you guys have? Did yours
sweet fragrance.
Sweet fragrance. So yours would be smell. Okay.
Mine says a sweet and satisfying odor. To the Lord.
Okay, so it's all smells then, right? So this is what it is. So I guess if you burn the inside appendages and things of that nature,
So it smells for the.
NIV says an aroma.
An aroma, right? Okay, so it's all about pleasing our Creator, and if, like I've mentioned this billion times, if we're spending 66,600 miles an hour in one direction and tilted at 6.6 degrees, and we're out there everywhere, where's our Creator at? It makes more sense that we are on a flat, stationary plane, that there's a dome above us, and that somehow wherever this was, our Creator is able to smell this stuff. So it just doesn't seem like he's billions of light years away, or as the liars tell us. All right, and if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offering unto Yahuwah be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer before Yahuwah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tabernacle of the assembly. And Aaron's sons shall sprinkle the blood thereof round about the altar. Now, this is where it gets kind of gruesome right here, right? And this is because when you're laying the hand on the head, then you cut his throat, right? So you're literally, it's the guilt offering, right? It goes up on, and it's rough. Okay, and he shall offer of the sacrifice of peace offering, an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah, the fat thereof and the whole rump. It shall he take off hard by the backbone, and the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards. And the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. Now, as we are talking about kidneys and things of this nature, what I find fascinating about this whole thing, is that we are essentially animals of the same thing, right? Every creation that our Creator has done that breathes has kidneys, has lungs, processes air, has their noses where they are, is able to do, all of this stuff is all built in the same thing, right? And so if you have, like the cows, they all have their kidneys, they all have their stuff, the same stuff humans do. We're all, and some people are like, well, a monkey, you came from monkeys, or you came out of a thing, right? And that was all a hoax. That was all a lie. But that doesn't make any sense, right? Because how do we all have developed lungs and developed kidneys? And our kidneys are there to process bad foods. Everything that we have is an organ, is a blessing that processes. And the human body, as weak as we are and frail as we are actually way stronger in various ways than a lot of the animals are, because we can recover ourselves, whereas animals are, unfortunately, are unable to. And I just found that interesting. Anyone have anything else? I got a bunch of stone-faced kids here. They're all like broken or something. All right. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before Yahuwah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tabernacle of the assembly. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about. And he shall offer thereof his offering, and he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. The fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is up on the inwards.
Mine says the entrails. I don't know what the difference is, but
inwards.
Just the guts and the inside of it.
NIV says internal organs.
Internal organ. Yep. And the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away.
Yeah, the insides definitely smell bad after they start smelling real bad.
Yeah, they do. A little experience there. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is Yahuwah's. Okay, now we are told not to eat fat. This is very interesting.
Right, so you burn the fat.
What is fat? What is it exactly?
Fat. It's like a layer of skin developed.
All right, remember Evil Eric? How he would take the fat of the pigs and then would make grease out of it. Yeah, he would make he would start boiling down the fat of the pigs. We had this evil guy that we knew, and he just laughs at Yah. He was just a very evil fella, and he loved to rib us because he knows we don't eat pork, and so he would send us pictures of him boiling down pig fat. And he would cook with it. Every bit of his food he would stick pig fat into. And so everybody that was eating any of his stuff, he was a cook and he's selling this terrible food. He's a terrible guy. Very evil in the eyes of Yahuwah.
So fat's kind of like a layer over. You kind of have to, when you cutting out the meat, you kind of have to separate it.
Yeah.
So you can get to the meat.
Yeah, and it's going to sizzle, right? Because it's going to sizzle. If you put just a piece of fat in that, it's going to sizzle until it breaks down into.
It's unedible. It's hard to chew. It's
yeah, we're not supposed to eat it.
It's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy layer of skin.
It's a protective layer, I think, to protect your organs and stuff.
Nicole says it's a protective layer. That must mean I'm completely protected. That must mean I can never die.
It's not fat. It's body padding.
I'm saying it protects your organs inside you, not that you're never gonna die.
Hey, as a fat guy, I'd rather have fat and be stabbed than be skinny and be stabbed. That's all I can say. If somebody's gonna stab me with a knife, hopefully it's in my gut. That's just a joke. Bad joke. All right, 17. It shall be a perpetual statute. Sorry, I can't read it. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings that ye I can't read. That ye eat neither fat nor blood. Okay, that's a command. There's a command. We finally found a command. We're out of the drought.
Don't eat the fat or the blood.
There it is. Commandment number 51. Don't eat the fat nor blood.
So that one should be its own command because we haven't had the fat before.
We have don't eat the blood,
but we don't have don't eat the fat.
So that should probably go under eat the blood and be a whole new command as well.
Yeah, and so we should add this commandment. So we should add this as a new commandment, and then any of these, maybe add this back to the other commandment.
Yeah, the
don't
blood.
Eat the fat.
So
is everyone good with me? So we can do this. All right, that's good. We found one. Yay! The drought is over. Yay! One commandment found. All right, so we're going to continue on. It's a Shabbat. It's 23 minutes here. We're kind of out of power, so there's not any breakfast. Nothing can be heated up at this moment, which is totally fine, except the kids did just fine. All right, here we go. Leviticus 4. This is called the sin offering. Okay? And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yisrael, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahuwah concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin, which he has sinned, a young bullock without blemish unto Yahuwah for a sin offering. Okay, so what is it saying?
Basically, if someone sins and they do accident for anybody,
it says if anybody, and then it goes if any Kohen sins.
Right, and so this is why why we have a Melchizedek priest and why it talks, I think in Hebrews, about the Melchizedek priest. Was that in Hebrews? Mm-hmm. I believe it is. And why it is that it is so important that we have a Melchizedek priest. What does that mean?
He is the high priest, basically, a perfect priest, a priest that was without sin.
Right, and so our Messiah, Yahushua, became that perfect sin. And so it talks, I think it was in Hebrews, it even talked about that even if the old way had to have even the priests clean themselves, right? Which is spooky, right? Because if you have a priest that's living in sin and doing a whole bunch of stuff, and this guy's like trying to atone for your sins, I don't know what it is.
It's not going to go well.
No, and that's why we have Messiah Yahushua, because he lived a sinless life of that nature. So I thought that was interesting.
It's
All right.
in Hebrews 7.
Hebrews 7. Thank you.
27 and 28.
Nice. Very nice. She's very quick. Quick on the draw. Thank you, Nicole. All right. If the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin, which he has sinned, a young bullock without blemish unto Yahuwah for a sin offering. So if I was a priest, I would probably atone for my sin regardless, because how easy is it to sin, right? It's simple, easy to sin. Your thoughts can have you in sin. Just your actions of, there's a lot of, what are the 7 deadly sins? You guys remember those?
Yeah, we remember them not too long ago. It's gluttony, pride, greed, a tongue that speaks evil, slothfulness,
yeah. So those are all things. That's as easy as it is to break a Torah commandment and fall out of the graces of our Creator if we are not being very careful with this stuff. So yeah, I would probably do my own thing every time, just in case. Even if I didn't know I sinned, then I would do it just in case, because I wouldn't want to represent for Yah without being completely clean. And he shall bring the bullock into the door of the tabernacle of the assembly before Yahuwah, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head, and kill a bullock before Yahuwah. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood, and bring it to the tabernacle of the assembly. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before Yahuwah, before the veil of the sanctuary. There's that number 7 again. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of it sweet incense before Yahuwah, which is in the tabernacle of the assembly, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. Okay, so there's blood being sprinkled everywhere again. And he shall take off from it all the fat of the bullock for the sin offering, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys it shall he take away. Did you say caul?
No. Okay,
Appendage.
Yeah, it's appendage. Where's his flanks? I think it's loins.
That's loins. His loins.
Loins. What exactly would that be? Loins?
The in between their legs, I think.
Isn't that like a loin? Isn't there like a loin roast or something?
There is.
So that their back haunches thing?
I don't know.
All right, I don't know.
Oh, instead of calls in the IV, it says long lobe.
Long lobe. Oh, and the caul would be the liver then, right?
The appendage of the liver.
So
Caul of the liver.
Caul of the liver. Okay, yeah. So it's like maybe what holds the liver in or something. Is my guess. I don't know. 10. And it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the ascending smoke offering. And the skin of the bullock and all his flesh, with his head and with his legs and his inwards and his dung, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp unto a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn him on the wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out shall he be burnt. Okay, so that's very interesting. Why? What happens down here in the south of the world if you don't bury something?
Ravens,
huge
Vultures,
yeah.
huge giant birds.
And they come out and just take off and just completely decimate whatever's there.
Yeah, and I've seen an entire cow be picked apart inside of a week. It's like there's nothing left but the skull, and eventually that was down the road. And somebody had taken off and packed that down the road. So yesterday, after the boys had to do what they had to do, and they left that area, you could look up in the sky, and there were just zillions of birds. We buried the rest of the cow.
Yeah,
we buried everything, but they could smell the blood for miles and miles and miles. And it's crazy that Yah's creatures are able to like sniff this stuff out, right? How we're just a little speck in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden we have 100 giant vultures all around, and they all come down, and they're crazy creatures, right? And that's why Yah has told us animals we should eat and shouldn't eat, right? You're not going to want to go kill a vulture who just had his head in like this stuff right here. So this is interesting. So he takes everything of the cow or the whatever animal's being done, and he burns it, and that would stop the animals from coming and basically just running away with it. All right, 13. And if the whole assembly of Yisrael sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done somewhat against any of the commandments of Yahuwah concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty. So how would you know if nobody knew about it? How would you know they were guilty?
Someone found out and said something. Yahuwah puts a spirit of guilt on them, like when they find out what they've done, or they have someone that's like.
Didn't that happen to Joshua where they went out and fought and they all lost and they couldn't figure out why?
Well, that was because someone sinned on purpose. Somebody
buried that stuff.
Yahuwah said,
right?
don't take anything from Jericho. Leave all their stuff, and some dude took an entire bag of stuff and took all the gold and all the jewelry and put it under his tent, and they kept getting smoted, and Joshua didn't understand until Yahuwah was like, well, you gotta find out someone sinned against me, go figure out who it was. And instead of telling him, he actually made him go through this process, and he's like, why'd you do this when they found out? So they ended up stoning the entire,
that dude ended up getting
the entire
a bunch
tribe
of people
that
killed.
Dude. Yeah, the entire family for that.
Yeah.
They burned their bodies in this valley.
Yeah, well, he got a lot of people killed. So, okay. When the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bullock for the sin and bring him before the tabernacle of the assembly. And the elders of the assembly shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullock before Yahuwah, and the bullock shall be killed before Yahuwah. And the priest that is anointed shall bring of the bullock's blood to the tabernacle of the assembly. And the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahuwah, even before the veil. 7 times again, guys. So there's a cycle of 7s. And this is why I keep saying that the Shabbat has to be on a cycle of 7. If you are keeping a Sabbath and you are starting in the middle of the year and you even call it new beginnings or whatever, that is not biblical. It doesn't say we should begin something outside the cycles of 7. We have to get in the cycles of 7 if we want to be on the right schedule for our Shabbats. All right, 18. And he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar, which is before Yahuwah, that is in the tabernacle of the assembly, and shall pour out all the blood at the bottom of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And he shall take all his fat from him and burn it upon the altar. Yah loves the burning fat smell, which is why we probably shouldn't eat it. And he shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock for a sin offering. So shall he do with this. And the priest shall make an atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven them. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is a sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler has sinned, and done somewhat through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahuwah Eloheinu, concerning things which should not be done, and is guilty, or if his sin wherein he has sinned come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a male without blemish, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat and kill it in the place where they killed the ascending smoke offering before Yahuwah. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall take the blood of the sin offering with his fingers and put it upon the horns of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, and shall pour out his blood at the bottom of the altar of the ascending smoke offering. And he shall burn all his fat upon the altar, as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance, while he does somewhat against any of the commandments of Yahuwah concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty, or if his sin which he has sinned come to a knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sin which he has sinned. All right, this is a topic all in of itself. What does this mean right here?
Basically, if one of us sinned, we got to bring a goat.
Well, there's something beyond this, because this part right here, this talks about these people sin in ignorance, right? What does that mean to sin in ignorance?
It's like sin by mistake. They didn't know they actually.
It's like us back eating pork, right? When we did not know, we were Christians, and all food had been made clean by the preacher and Paul, and so we were sitting there eating pig in thing. So this is what it's talking about. It's talking about a remembrance sin. So this is the thing, is if you guys are, say, laying in bed one night and you guys remember something you guys did as a child that was great evil, that is where we need to basically call upon the Messiah's name, in a prayer and be forgiven for this. Because if this was something that they did in ignorance, that they figured out later, that they're like, oh man, we got to do this. It's understanding. And when we come to the knowledge of the Torah and understand this, then we know what sin is. But prior to this, we all lived in sin. And I was talking to the boys this morning, us coming out of Babylon, man, I grew up in Babylon. I used to be watching horrible movies and horrible stuff on TV. It was just horrible stuff that even to this day is not out of my mind. And it's stuff I've never let the kids watch. We've never watched TV. When they were kids, real kids, they did. But we don't have TV. It's been 7, 8 years. I don't know how long, but it's been a long time. And we don't watch any of that. And so it's, the eyes are the windows to the soul, but we can easily sin. And there's a tremendous amount of dangers, and that's a danger with adultery. And adultery is as easy as looking at a woman with lust in your eyes. That is as easy as it is. And you're never ever supposed to take your eyes off your spouse ever. And so that it's a problem. Okay, here we go. Where are we at? Are we in 29?
We are on.
Eli has me at 29 at the top.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, that is something to remember, right? If we come up and we start remembering these sins and we start feeling guilty about them, we need to be atoned for them, and we need Messiah Yahushua's blood. Okay, and he shall lay, 29, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering and slay the sin offering in the place of the ascending smoke offering. And the priest shall take of the blood thereof with his finger and put it upon the horns of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat is taken away off of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor unto Yahuwah. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. And if you bring a lamb for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering and slay it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the ascending smoke offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it upon the horns of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. 35. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offerings, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar, according to the offerings made by fire unto Yahuwah. And the priest shall make an atonement for his sin that he has committed, and it shall be forgiven him. All right, gentlemen. Maybe we'll just call that one good. We have it. It'll be a Shabbat of rest. Hopefully to all of you guys out there. Guys, thank you very, very much for listening in. My catatonic boys, it's been a rough week, so they're all a little catatonic. They gave me a little smirk here, but it's been a rough week, and you can definitely tell how weeks and how bad stuff weighs upon families and all of us. And all I can say is this family will dust ourselves off. We will wipe our tears. We will stand up, and we will rise up again. And I guess that is for everybody, right? If you guys are having those kind of weeks and it just seems hopeless and it seems despair and there's no hope anywhere, this is exactly what I was trying to explain to the boys this morning, is we must absolutely seek the kingdom to come. The world that we have here is passing. It's fading. I've spoken about this before, but it is truly on the way out. And it seems like if there were two teams and there was Yah's team and Hasatan's team, it seems like the majority of the world, I would say it's got to be over 95% of the world, as by default, if they are not interested in our Creator and are not worshiping as our Creator has said, they're not, sanctifying and taking the mark of the day, which is the Sabbath. That is the only way that separates people from anything, and that is where commandment keeping begins, I believe, is when you start understanding that the seventh day is blessed. It is a day blessed over anywhere else, and this is a day that we rest. This is where we dust ourselves off, right? We make it to the Shabbat, and we dust ourselves off. This is why Yah has given us a day like this, so that we can regroup, we can recap, we can fine tune our understanding of what our Creator says, and rest. So with that, I would ask you guys if you had anything else, but
Basically, if you sin, you should repent. If you sin by mistake or even sin by knowing, you should definitely repent.
Yeah, my lead guy Cubby, he's a little tired today, so hopefully we'll have him back on the next time that we do this, which should be tomorrow, which we will do tomorrow, same time, same place. You guys can catch us, and we'll be putting this out until we get through the Torah, and even then we might just continue on with it because reading the Torah in the morning is definitely a good thing for everybody. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Nicole?
Shabbat shalom.
Goodbye.
Bye.